Let's go to the NBA Cup. The Bucks did it,
Finally.
and I'm I'm just going to ask you one question about this. The game itself was not a great game performance by the Thunder, but I think the question to be coming out of this, considering the Bucks are the team that won it, and they're in this run of good form, Dame and Giannis really good in this game. Do you believe that this Bucks NBA Cup win and the form they've showed in it, do you feel like this elevates them in your title picture? Does this make them the third in the East to Cleveland and Boston? Does this put them in that conversation? We should know Cleveland, Milwaukee play on Friday in Cleveland, a game that should be great.
Ooh, you going?
I am not going because tickets are for people that don't know, there's a huge Greek population in Cleveland. The ticket prices are for Giannis already higher. The Greek population shows out for Giannis. I will be watching it probably at a bar on Friday night is what I would guess.
Do you have a Greek town in Cleveland?
There's a lot of Greek restaurants. There's not a Greek town, but there is a huge Greek immigrant population. A lot of Greek Orthodox churches.
Good to know. So to answer your question, the NBA, them just winning the NBA Cup does not make me change my thinking about the Milwaukee Bucks, but I am buying into them. Their NBA Cup win was a culmination of what's been about a month and a half of turning the tide on their season. Over the last 15 games, they're 8th in net rating. That doesn't include the NBA Cup game, right? Because that doesn't count toward the stats. So over the last 15 games prior to the NBA Cup, they're 8th in net rating. They just took down the team number 1 in net rating in the NBA in the Oklahoma City Thunder. All of this shows to me that this is a real team that we have to take seriously. This is not the team anymore that started the year 2-8. Doc Rivers, to his credit, has done an awesome job. He had a quick hook on the guys that couldn't play. Pat Connaughton took Trent Jr. out of the starting lineup. He's added Andre Jackson Jr. into the starting lineup. No more Marjon Beauchamp, who's just unplayable. You took, he's elevated AJ Green in the rotation. He's been really helpful for them. They're long. They're getting Chris Middleton back. He didn't play in the NBA Cup game, but he's been back and playing minutes off the bench for him. For them, I just think that the Milwaukee Bucks are flatly better. And as loud as the first couple of weeks of the season was with the Giannis trade rumors and is Damian Lillard going to last the whole season in Milwaukee? Do they have to blow this thing up? Maybe a lot of people are still assuming that those are these Milwaukee Bucks and maybe tuned out on them. No, they've been really good. They've been top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency over those last 15 games. They've, by all accounts, been a top 10 team in the NBA. Now, would I take them over the Boston Celtics, the Cavaliers, the Knicks, to answer your question, Chris? I don't know that I would go that far yet, but I'm taking them seriously. They have worked their way back from bottom of the Eastern Conference standings with Philadelphia to back into the inner circle of legitimate championship contenders. That's where they are. And when Giannis is playing like this, he is this. I remember getting on the show with you and talking about, hey, Giannis, the numbers are good, but I don't feel him the same way. There's no oomph to his game. I'm not seeing the leadership from him. He has completely changed that. He is playing with oomph. He was so locked in during that NBA Cup. He is being a leader on and off the court. He's leading by example. He's leading with his voice. You hear all these quotes coming out about how they're rallying around him. And yeah, this is a dangerous team, especially with Giannis playing at an MVP level. There's going to be, I don't know that I would take them over Boston, New York, or Cleveland. Giannis would be the best player in all of those matchups. Not close. And that in and of itself is really dangerous.
I can see a Giannis MVP in the cards way more than I could a month ago. Mm-hmm. The way that, number one,
it's
the way
1A and 1B with him and Jokic right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think you're seeing this feels like something of an evolution of Giannis to me. Not in terms of how he's playing, but the leadership of Giannis. I mean, there was a really big Jamal Collier story on ESPN that caught my eye. That it seems like he's being a louder leader in the locker room. He's being a little using that gravitas that he inherently has as one of the best players on planet Earth, as the steward of that franchise. When you have guys like Bobby Portis saying he's the guy that's been with him in the trenches, in the finals, been around him several years, that it's a different kind of leadership from him. I think that is right. And it feels like Doc Rivers, I think, has done a really, has just been solid. He's not ever going to be, I think, anyone's favorite coach, but he's been pulling the right buttons, you meant, with the starting lineup changes. And then you get Giannis caring and Giannis leading in through that way. That's going to trickle down to the rest of the roster. When a star player buys in like that, when a star player is giving a fuck like that, that just matters to me, when I'm thinking about what a team can be. I'm not like to compare him and like Embiid. This isn't Embiid's fault, but the way that like the lateness for stuff and some of the complaining over time, you don't really get that from Giannis. Where he didn't allow like this sunk and it could have doomed their whole season. He said, "F this, this isn't happening for us," and they've gone the completely other direction. There is something to just like the attitude of this team has shifted in a big way, and if they can keep Middleton healthy and back, and they just keep relying on the stars that they have, it's absolutely a team that if they're the 3 seed and you're Cleveland in the 2, you're like, fuck, we have to play Giannis in round 2. For the Bucks, it's like, fuck, they end up as the 4 seed. We have them in round 2. That's gonna scare the shit out of you to have to deal with a guy like they absolutely could end up being in the East Finals and the NBA Finals at the end of the year. I think it's totally in the cards for them in a way I didn't think it was a month ago.
Yeah, I think there's something to, in terms of Giannis's leadership. I love that in that Collier story on ESPN, he also did like a sit down with the Athletic before. He was talking about before they won the NBA Cup, before the game, how much this meant to them, how much they needed to win this game to prove to themselves and everything else that, you know, like they can win something, that they can accomplish something. Think about it. Like Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks, they haven't accomplished anything since 2021.
No.
Since they won the championship. This is the first real bit of tangible accomplishment. Like Giannis has been in MVP conversations and stuff like that, but you know, as a team, they haven't really done anything since that championship. So they needed this. And Giannis was out there talking about how much he cared about this. It was kind of the antithesis of the Thunder, right? The Thunder, I don't even know if they knew they were in the NBA Cup, right? They were so casual and like kind of laissez-faire about the whole thing, which is their identity, and that kind of stems from Shea and just how he carries himself. Not that that's a bad thing, but you know, Giannis has been a little bit like that at other times in his career, but in this instance, he was so transparently caring about this. And what I was impressed by in that is because, hey, if you come out and lay an egg, heck, if you come out and do what the Thunder did and just shoot 5 of 28 from 3-point, or whatever it was, 5 of 37 from 3-point range, you can, like, you end up with egg on your face, right? Like, you look really dumb. Hey, we really cared about this, and then we just got wiped off the floor by 20 points. But he didn't care. He put it out on the line. You know, there's some risk in that in terms of the public persona and all of that. And he doesn't care. He said he knows there's so much confidence that he's playing with, and I think his teammates are really feeding off of that. It's very like general leading his army into the trenches, right? I'm out here. I'm risking it. I'm the face of this. If we fail, it's because of me. If we succeed, it's because of all of us. And I think that really does resonate. Like, he's always been a lead by example guy, but now it's both things.
Even just the way that he's like, the job is not finished. They don't really have the champagne celebration. Like, every little bit of this feels like they are just taking everything incredibly seriously.
Yeah, that was a little too it's try-hardy for me.
Yes, 100%. But I get why. Like, I get why athletes go to that space.
Received. Yes.
Yeah, it's like you go to the space, you signal that there's more work to be done, that like this isn't the ultimate goal. We still have a whole season to go. We're not gonna like make this a huge deal. We're not gonna go like maybe they did go out and have a good time in Vegas. I hope they did.
I was just gonna ask you. They did, right? They just didn't do it in front of the cameras. They clearly went to the club or a nice restaurant or whatever it was that they wanted to do and opened several bottles of champagne.
Yeah, we'll find out how they look Friday in Cleveland if they're just absolutely sluggish and get run off the court.
I wonder, did they take the unopened bottles and then just pay the corkage at the new place, or do you just buy the new ones?
You probably, I think they probably have enough money to not think about that. Whereas,
they all just got $500,000. So,
yeah, I did enjoy Dame being like, there's two ways to answer what you do with that money, which is the question all these guys get asked every year. It's just a new question that they have to have an answer for now. Dame was like, I'm going to give it to guys. That's a good charitable answer. Giannis is like, do you understand how expensive diapers are?
Yeah,
Giannis with the populist message about the cost of living in this country. It's just like
that
incredible
was good.
stuff.
I did enjoy Josh Hart being like, oh, there's that new watch. I forget what brand it was, but there's a new watch I got my eye on. I was like, okay. I respect the honesty. Treat yourself. I get it.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hartenstein was like, oh, he told, I think it was Malika Andrews. We all agreed that we were going to give it to a couple of charitable funds in Oklahoma City. And she's like, oh, like you as a team? He's like, oh, no, me and my family. Like, we all agreed. I don't know what the team is doing with theirs. but then they lost. So
Yeah, they lost. Doesn't matter anyway. But look, I'm taking the Bucks seriously. I think you have to with Giannis at the head.
What would you do?
What do you mean? What would the money?
$500,000 for winning the NBA Cup. What are you doing?
Student loans paid off.
Yeah, that's probably the same for me.
I don't have. But the thing is, I don't have that much left. So I like, okay, let's just say,
yeah.
Let's just say you lose. I only know this roughly. I don't know how it's actually. Actually, my first question, I would ask like my
Lump
accountant,
sum
how is how like so I learned this
Yeah.
the other day. If let's say you and I like let's say you won the Mega Millions right now, right?
Yeah.
You have a 24% federal tax right off the bat
Okay.
that comes out from the lump sum. Then you get your
Right.
state tax. Ohio, it's 4%. I don't know what it is in Florida.
0.
Then the money, you're probably right. Then you have to pay income tax based on the lump sum.
Uh-huh.
So like
I didn't realize we were going to do a whole economics course.
Wes, I work for a bank. This is what my brain has turned into. My first question would be like, how is this $500,000 taxed? But I would pay off my student loans, and then I'm probably just like putting the rest, like, because I like 500,000. If I had their money, I'm buying something stupid. If I had my money in this current situation, that's going into like I'm putting a huge down payment on a home.
10 grand to a Submariner.
Yeah. I'm also going
Student
to
loans.
sickest dinner possible too as well. Like I'm taking like 10 of my friends and we're going to
yeah.
like the best dinner I can go to.
Yeah, bone-in, dry-aged, the works.
Yeah.
All right.
How much is that bottle of wine? Don't care.
Right. Yeah. Give
But
me that.
secretly,
Bring
I'm
in
like,
the
hey,
Screaming Eagle cab. Let's go.
Yeah. So this is how we're doing it. There's also, I bet you, like Giannis, like in like Dame in that situation, it's like Dame just got a lifetime Adidas contract.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Yeah, but like the 15th guy in that roster is probably like, hell yeah, brother. Like this is great for me. Do losers get nothing extra?
No, you
Just their game
make
check?
something. I can't remember the amount. You make something for getting to the semifinals, and then something else for getting to the NBA Cup, but you don't get the full 500,000.
Yeah, okay, something. MVP odds right now. Giannis is at plus 600. Here's the top 5. Tatum's at plus 1,300. Luka's at plus 750. Giannis at plus 600. SGA at plus 240. Jokic minus 105.
No, those Giannis odds are awesome. Now's the time. Bet MGM plus 600. Do it. And then honestly, I don't mind Luka at plus 750, but Giannis at that value right now, it's him and I saw Chris. I had to turn in my fake ballot to Bond Temps for the ESPN straw poll.
Whoa! Big time Goldberg over here in the Bontemps poll. Look at this guy. This guy.
It was like, I don't know, maybe it was yesterday afternoon, so before the game. I had Jokic at 1.
Mm-hmm.
I had Giannis at 2. And he responded to everybody afterwards. If you guys want to change your picks, you still have time. And I said, no, I'm good with Jokic at 1, Giannis at 2. I'm still good. I'm good with that. But it's really hard. It's 1A and 1B and everybody else. The fact that SGA has better odds right now is crazy. Like
it's just best team and the best record in the West, that kind of stuff.
And I don't want to take anything away from SGA. He's 3rd on my ballot, right? My fake ballot right now.
Yeah.
But to me, it's Jokic, it's Giannis, it's 1A, it's 1B. If you want to vote Giannis right now for MVP, I could not come up with a valid argument why. I just thinking who's having the best season so far. And so far, it's been Jokic. But a week from now, it could be Giannis easily.
Yeah. The narrative for a Giannis MVP win is right there. And even record-wise, I was looking at the standings before we started recording. They have 3. So they're 14-11. The Magic are 17-11. They have 3 games in hand on the Magic. Like, that means they're going to have a busier rest of the season in a very minor sense. But, like, they have the opportunity at some point to just make a huge run in the standings. And, they're every team is chasing.
They're a game and a half out of 3rd right now.
They're a game and a half out of 3rd. I don't think they're catching Cleveland or Boston unless one of those teams just has a big injury fall off. But there's a real window for them to get to the 3rd seed, for the narrative Giannis to be there, and then we're looking at him getting another MVP at the end of the season, and them being in the Eastern. Like the best case scenarios for this team are fully on the table now in a way they weren't a month ago. And
if the stats were even right now with Jokic and Giannis, just keep them the same through now to the end of the year. But Milwaukee is a top 3 seed in the East, and Denver's still at like 5.
I'm giving it to Giannis.
Giannis is getting the MVP, exactly.
Yeah, and I think there could
and
also
that's voter behavior, by the way. That's not even like my pick. I'm telling you that's what will happen.
Yeah, there's also still like the Jokic is getting another one thing that will come around again. It is inevitable with him, and Giannis and SGA and Luka, but it feels like Giannis and SGA are the 2 most likely guys to benefit in the voting from some of that voting behavior.